EB5 Investment Transparency, a guide to understanding risks and identifying red flags. Welcome to this guide on evaluating risks and common red flags for EB5 projects. Our goal is to help you maximize your chances of getting a green card through the EB5 program and getting a return on your invested funds. The EB5 program offers a unique opportunity to gain a U.S. green card through investment. However, every EB5 project carries a degree of risk. The key to making an informed decision is to understand these risks. You also need to find out whether a project is providing transparent risk disclosures. Still, many EB5 investors often find themselves in the dark, not knowing the right questions to ask when looking at an EB5 project. This can lead to uninformed decisions, which we want to help you avoid. We'll now guide you through the basics of EB5 project risk, providing an easy-to-follow framework to help you identify high-quality projects. What risks are involved in making an EB5 visa investment? Let's start with the basics of EB5 investment risk. The EB5 program requires invested funds to be at risk for an investor to qualify for a green card. This means that EB5 investors must be open to both financial gain or loss. It's true that no EB5 project is 100% free of financial and immigration risk. However, the level of risk can vary significantly among projects. Even if a project technically meets the requirements of the EB5 program, it may still be high risk. In fact, many EB5 projects carry levels of risk far higher than necessary. That is currently true in the EB5 market. Hundreds of project sponsors and EB5 regional centers offer projects to investors. And most of these projects plan on meeting the EB5 program's green card requirements. For example, a project's business plan may stipulate that the project will create at least 10 jobs per EB5 investor. This is a key requirement for an EB5 green card. However, the actual success of the project depends on several factors. These include the project's capital structure, the construction timeline, and the developer's track record. These factors will determine the project's risk level. It's also important to note that USCIS, which oversees the EB5 program, will only check whether an EB5 project fulfills the at-risk and job creation requirements. But USCIS does not evaluate whether an EB5 investor will receive his or her invested capital back. This depends on a project's financial performance. Similarly, an immigration attorney will only check whether a project meets EB5 program requirements. They generally do not provide advice on the financial feasibility of a project. Given these risk factors, many EB5 investors unknowingly invest in high-risk projects. Then, the project does not perform well and faces financial issues. Often when a project is a financial failure, it also fails to create enough jobs for its EB5 investors to immigrate. In this way, financial risk is tied to immigration risk. So, why do risky EB5 projects attract investors? Usually, these investors either do not know to evaluate project risk, or they do not compare different projects before investing. Many EB5 investors are foreign nationals living outside the United States when they invest. They may have little experience investing in real estate projects in the United States. Now let's look at another factor that makes it difficult to evaluate an EB5 project's risk: U.S. securities laws and EB5 investment projects. We'll now take a brief look at U.S. securities laws as they relate to EB5 investments. Understanding these laws is vital to understanding the risks that come with EB5 investment. U.S. securities laws were made to protect American investors. One goal of these laws is to ensure that investors are not exposed to high-risk investments. However, these laws are more relaxed for accredited investors. Accredited investors meet certain income and net worth requirements. EB5 investors are foreign nationals, not U.S. citizens, and almost all EB5 projects require EB5 investors to be accredited investors. Because EB5 investors are both accredited and foreign investors, EB5 projects are subject to much lower transparency standards. In addition, most EB5 projects are private offerings. They are not marketed to the general public and do not need to register under U.S. Securities Laws. Private offerings only need to disclose the key risks of the investment. What does all of this mean for you as an EB5 investor? It means that an EB5 project can have an unlimited amount of risk, as long as all the risks are disclosed in writing. As mentioned earlier, EB5 investor funds must be at risk of loss. But that risk does not need to be high for an EB5 investor to qualify under the program. In fact, you can find low-risk, reliable projects on the EB5 market. For example, consider two examples of EB5 projects. The first project will build a single-family home community. This project has been making progress for several years now. The project has secured funding from 2 senior loans. It has created over 1,000 EB5 jobs and sold over 500 homes. The project loans are secured by a parent company with an impeccable track record. Clearly, this project's risk level is low. Contrast this with a project that will build a hotel and apartment complex. This project has yet to secure a senior loan. Construction has not started. No EB5 jobs have been created. The project's financial success depends on future rental revenue. Clearly, this project is high risk. How to examine risk in a project's offering documents. To identify whether a project carries high risk like this rental project, the key is to review the offering documents. What's not included in these documents can be just as important as what is included. A project's salesperson may reassure you about the project's financing or other aspects. However, only rely on details included in the project's written offering materials. Let's look at 3 risk factors that are often revealed in an EB5 project's offering documents. The first is senior loan risk. If an EB5 salesperson claims a senior loan is secure but won't provide evidence, that's a red flag. As the investor, you should have access to these important documents to evaluate the investment's feasibility. Next up is repayment risk. The offering documents may reveal that repayment of the EB5 investor's funds depends solely on future revenues. If the project fails to generate sufficient revenue, investors could lose their funds. This is especially risky for apartment projects. Lastly, we have developer risk. Be cautious if a salesperson assures you that a developer is financially sound without providing supporting documents, such as financial statements. These documents provide insights into the financial strength of the companies involved. You should also be able to research the developer's track record of completing similar projects and repaying loans. A comprehensive review of all offering documents is the key to making an informed decision and managing your investment risks. Always remember, if it isn't written down, consider it unverified and potentially false. Project question list. To simplify the diligence process, EB5AN has prepared a downloadable list of questions that you can send to project sponsors. Written answers to these questions will allow you to easily assess a project's immigration and financial risk. Visit EB5 Investment Transparency, a guide to understanding risks and identifying red flags on eb5visainvestments.com for access to the downloadable question list. Make an EB5 investment with confidence. As an EB5 investor, you should be careful when choosing a project to invest in. Every project has financial and immigration risks, but some projects are much riskier than others. By using the information in this video and carefully looking at more than one project, you can invest with greater confidence. You can't remove all risk, but you can take simple steps to improve your chances of successfully immigrating and getting your money back. At EB5AN, we've spent the last decade promoting transparency and educating investors on the EB5 process. Our approach is to identify projects that need below-market investment capital, but are not dependent on EB5 funds to succeed. We then structure EB5 investments for these projects with a focus on investor safety and success. Our EB5 investors have benefited from our conservative and transparent approach. We have built one of the largest EB5 regional center platforms, with over 10 regional centers serving the entire continental United States. Each of our projects is either completed or on track. All EB5 capital is either repaid or in good standing, and all EB5 job creation requirements are either met or on track. For more information on how we can help you succeed in the EB5 immigration process, schedule a free consultation.